everybody, welcome to Let's Talk About It with Aria. So before we get started, make sure you are subscribed below because we are 4 people away from 100 subscribers and I'm really excited about that. So make sure you subscribe so you can keep seeing our videos and all that fun stuff. So for starters, I'm originally from Western Massachusetts, a really small town. Also, sorry about my voice. I don't know if I have like a cold or it's allergies, but I don't know what's going on with that. So yeah, I was born in Western Massachusetts, born and raised, and when you think Massachusetts, you're probably not really sure what you're thinking of because no one really knows anything about Massachusetts other than Boston, Patriots, Red Sox. Maybe if you pay attention to hockey, you might know the Bruins. But most of the time, people have no idea where I'm from when they ask me where I'm from. Because being the fact that I live in Georgia now, I obviously don't have a southern accent. And so people are really quick to like call that out and be like, where are you from? You're not from the South. And so I break it down to them and they're like, oh, okay, that's cool. What brings you down south from the north? You're a very long way from home. And they're not wrong. I'm very far from home. I'm exactly 1,001 miles from home, which adds up to about 17 hours in a car ride. So I'm very far from home. So I guess what prompted my move to Atlanta particularly was, I guess, my first university that I went to. It was a mixed campus. Like there was way more diversity than what I was used to in my high school, in my elementary school, in my neighborhood. And so I was just like, you know what, this is cool. Like there's more black faces. Awesome. This is what I want. I want to be around more black people. Like I've never really got to have a black best friend, a black teacher, nothing. And so going to this university, I was kind of excited that when I was touring it and whatnot, that I would see black people. And that sounds silly, but when you're one of the only black people in a white community, you definitely know what I mean. So once I enrolled in the university, I kind of just realized that it still wasn't what I needed, like it wasn't fulfilling me. And I think that kind of was partially because the black people at my university, I didn't feel like we really connected. I didn't really feel accepted by them. And so I really started looking more into bigger schools, because this was a private university. And there's Opie, my dog, in the background. He's trying to be in it. And so I just started looking into schools that were bigger. I started looking into communities that were blacker, and that might sound crazy, but you have to understand when you are actually half white and you live in a predominantly white community, it's kind of hard to find your place because you don't want to not be true to who you are, but you also don't want to, I guess, be like the people around you, if that makes sense. And so I landed on Atlanta, Georgia, and luckily I did because moving to Atlanta was the best decision of my life. And of course I had to make a lot of sacrifices and I had to really think if this was going to be something that I wanted to do. And so I finally decided that I'm going to apply to Georgia State, and I said, if I get in, I'm just going to go. That's it. I don't care. I'm going to go. And so a couple months later, I got an email that I was accepted and I was ecstatic. I couldn't wait. I just felt like hopeful. I just felt that there was a chance and that things were really just going to turn around for me. And they definitely did. And I am really happy that I made the move. And I'm really thankful that my parents supported me and my other family members because moving is a big deal. It's expensive. You definitely need support. You need help. And so once I finally made it down here with my mom, I just loved it. Like I love the community. I love being on a campus where I'm not like the only black person, and I like when I'm driving on a highway and I look to the right and left and I am not the only black person. And so I get pleasure out of these like little things that a lot of people who are raised in black communities don't really think about. And for me, it's like something that I'm always like subconsciously thinking, and I'm like, oh yes, like yay, look, another black person. Like that is oddly really exciting for me. And like another funny thing is that a lot of people tell me, oh, like how could you just move from another state with no friends, no family, you don't know anybody, like how can you do that? And it takes a certain type of person. Not everybody is able to just leave the life they know behind in search of something better. You have to really be confident in yourself. You need to not be afraid of failure. And then you also have to realize that life is about risk. And if you don't take any, you will be stuck in the same spot forever. And I refuse to be stuck in my small community, especially as a Black woman, because the opportunities are not the same. The type of jobs that I was working back home range from Six Flags to gas stations. And there's nothing wrong with those jobs, but compared to the jobs that my friends were working or other girls in my community were working, I just felt like I wasn't really getting the jobs that I really would prefer to work at as a high school student. And moving to Georgia, you know, I got into the restaurant industry as one of my first jobs, and I make very decent money just for doing not that much. And so it's just very different. The opportunities in the South are just, especially in Atlanta particularly, are phenomenal, and I definitely plan on taking advantage of this. I've been here for about 3 years now, and people, you know, they'll ask me, my friends from home will ask me, so like after you graduate, are you gonna move back home? Like, what's your plans? And I told them, like, Georgia is my home. Of course, Massachusetts will always be my home away from home, but in general, if I move back home, that would be because my life is in shambles in Georgia, and I have no choice. So I'm hoping that everything will continue to work out the way it's been, and I can, you know, continue to enjoy the city and take advantage of all the opportunities that are available here. And another main reason why I decided to move is because small town kids, they tend to be very, very ignorant. Opie, come here. He sees a dog out there. He's gonna start going crazy, so let me just stop him now. Come here. So a lot of small town kids are very ignorant and very closed-minded, and they don't understand things. And I can't really tell you the last time I was able to have a conversation, a real life conversation about real things, from Black Lives Matter to Trump, things like of that nature. I've never really had a real in-depth conversation with anybody from my community, my original community, about those issues. And it's either one, because they think it just doesn't affect them, but it doesn't matter, or two, they really just have no idea what's going on. And I just can't, I'm somebody who's constantly willing to learn and grow, so I can't be stuck in a place where there isn't constant growth. And that's why I'm really happy for my brother. He's going to a university back home, full ride for football, you know, everything that I would want for my brother is happening. And even though he's not going to school in the South, he's still going to a major university where there's going to be plenty of people from all of the coast at this university. And so I'm excited that he'll be able to experience that, because even he sees what I mean about how different it feels to have friends who are Black and to hang out with friends who are Black, because it's different. You feel more a part of something, because even though I love my best friends from home, they all are predominantly white girls. And so I never necessarily felt excluded, but there is definitely times where I didn't really feel, I felt still kind of out of place. Not because they ever made me feel that way, but just because of the environment we were in. And so luckily the move turned out that I met Trey, we have Romy now, and so I mean, my life didn't end when I moved, it honestly started. And so I hope that you guys enjoyed this little get to know me video. If you have any questions or anything like that, you can leave them below. And yeah, make sure you subscribe too, because we are very close to 100, and I think I hear Romy, so